Right, let's talk about Harvard. Yes, Harvard. For centuries, it's been a beacon of learning, churning out presidents, Nobel laureates, and one assumes a fair few people who are just insufferably good at pub quizzes. It's an institution that prides itself on intellectual rigor, groundbreaking research, and an endowment so vast it could probably buy a small European nation. The university itself is practically a byword for excellence. Its influence stretches far beyond its leafy campus, shaping policy, driving innovation, and occasionally providing the setting for films where someone dramatically runs through a library. But beneath the veneer of ivy-covered walls and scholarly pursuits, Harvard, like any major institution, finds itself navigating the often choppy waters of public perception, political scrutiny, and, as we're about to see, some rather pointed governmental attention. Now, you might think a University of Harvard's stature would be somewhat insulated from the rough and tumble of everyday political squabbles, but oh, how wrong you would be, especially in the current climate. And that, dear viewers, is precisely where Harvard has found itself, staring down the barrel of a rather large orange-tinted governmental cannon. So picture the scene. Harvard's probably having a normal Tuesday, then bam! The Trump administration decides to liven things up. How? By attempting to revoke the university's ability to enroll international students. The Department of Homeland Security moved to yank Harvard's SEVP certification. This is like telling a chef to prepare a meal using only a spork. The SEVP certification is critical for hosting international students. Without it, Harvard becomes a no-go zone for many students. Now, Harvard, being Harvard, wasn't just going to sit there and take this on the chin. So they did what any self-respecting multi-billion-dollar institution with a legion of highly paid lawyers would do. They sued. They marched right into a Boston courthouse and filed a lawsuit, calling the administration's actions a blatant violation of the law. The core of Harvard's argument is that this isn't just some bureaucratic snafu, it's a direct assault on its academic independence. Harvard President Alan Garber didn't mince his words, condemning the SEVP certification revocation as an unlawful and unwarranted action. Essentially, Harvard is saying you can't tell us what to teach, who to hire, or who to admit just because you feel like it. This is a fundamental battle over who gets to call the shots in higher education. They're not just fighting for their international students, they're fighting for their soul. Section 4. The numbers don't lie. Why international students are more than just statistics. Let's talk numbers for a moment, because they really do paint a rather stark picture of what's at stake here. Harvard isn't just a quaint New England college. It's a global academic powerhouse, and its international student population is a testament to that. We're talking about approximately 6,800 international students gracing its hallowed halls. Now, that might just sound like a big number, but consider this, those 6,800 bright sparks make up over 27% of Harvard's total student enrollment for the current year. So when the Trump administration decided to play hardball with Harvard's SEVP certification, they weren't just tweaking a minor administrative detail. As Harvard itself argued, the government's actions sought to erase a quarter of Harvard's student body. These aren't just faceless numbers on a spreadsheet. They're individuals who bring unique perspectives, talents, and, yes, often hefty tuition fees that help keep the lights on. The contribution of these international students goes far beyond the financial, though let's not pretend that isn't a factor for universities that run on, well, money. They enrich the academic environment, bringing different cultural insights and fostering a global outlook among all students. Section 5. A wider web of woe. It's not just Harvard feeling the heat, is it now? Now, you might be thinking, poor Harvard, singled out for a bit of governmental roughhousing, but oh no, this isn't an isolated incident. The Trump administration, it seems, has developed a bit of a taste for tangling with elite universities. Harvard might be the current star of this rather unfortunate show, but the supporting cast of other targeted institutions is growing. The administration has been rather vocal in its assertion that these temples of higher learning should be doing more to clamp down on pro-Palestinian activists. Furthermore, there are persistent claims from some quarters that these institutions discriminate against conservative viewpoints. The administration has launched investigations into dozens of universities. Dozens! That's a lot of paperwork, a lot of meetings, and presumably a lot of university administrators reaching for the strong coffee or possibly something stronger. The message is clear. We're watching you, and we're not afraid to intervene if we don't like what we see or hear. So while the Harvard student visa showdown is grabbing the headlines, it's crucial to see it as part of a broader pattern. Section 6, accusation, bingo, antisemitism, activists, and alleged anti-conservative vibes. Right, let's delve a bit deeper into the specific mud being slung in this academic altercation, because it's quite a colorful selection. The Trump administration, as we've noted, has publicly stated that its actions against Harvard, including the attempt to revoke its SEVP certification, are partly because the university allegedly hasn't done enough to combat anti-Semitism. This is a profoundly serious charge, and one that Harvard, quite understandably, has strongly denied. Then there's the issue of pro-Palestinian activists. The administration has made it clear it believes elite universities, Harvard included, should be doing more to clamp down on these groups. Universities are supposed to be places where difficult and controversial ideas can be debated openly, and of course no modern campus controversy would be complete without the accusation that universities are discriminating against conservative viewpoints. So Harvard finds itself in a rather unenviable position, batting away a volley of accusations from multiple directions. Section 7. The Big What If. Potential fallout for academia's hallowed halls. So what happens if the Trump administration actually succeeds in this endeavor? What if the courts side with the government and Harvard's ability to enroll international students is crippled, or if other punitive measures stick? Well, the consequences could be rather far-reaching, and not just for those dreaming of a crimson sweater. Firstly, for Harvard itself, losing over a quarter of its student body would be a seismic shock. The ripple effect would extend to other universities across the United States. If the administration can successfully bring an institution of Harvard's stature and resources to heel, what message does that send to smaller, less powerful colleges and universities? It could create a chilling effect where institutions become overly cautious, self-censoring their curricula, speakers, and research to avoid attracting unwanted governmental attention. Furthermore, this kind of action could significantly damage America's reputation as a global leader in higher education. International students might think twice about applying to US universities if they fear their visas could be jeopardized by political disputes, or if they perceive the academic environment to be increasingly restrictive. Ultimately, this showdown is about more than just Harvard or student visas. It's about the fundamental relationship between the government and institutions of higher learning.